presentation with G tonight. So who is up to do a prayer for us tonight?
Okay, I think that's me.
I am a medium. I knew you would do that. No,
All right.
Okay, so Jackson will do a prayer, and then after that, we're gonna have G talk with
Sorry,
us
my voice is
tonight. That's okay. We are not that picky. So good.
I'm still having issues in my. But anyway, so let's now everybody try to calm down. Close our eyes. Do a couple of deep breathings. Then let's just observe the breathing without, interfering. Just observe. And let's try to relax. Let's now connect with our mentor, with the heart full of gratitude for being here. Let's connect with Pedro Manuel and his team who has prepared this environment for us. We are protected in every place we are, in our houses. We have our guardian angel with us. And you can feel the warmth and the love of the friends present. We welcome as well our spirit, the spirits of those coming to learn with us, coming to hear what Gisele has to say about the family. Let's ask Gisele's mentor, spiritual mentor, to be with her, to inspire her, and for the workers as well, to send her energy and to open our mind and our heart for what's going to be discussed today. Let's embrace ourselves in this love, warmth, environment, this energy, this positive energy that unites us all. And be grateful, uplifting love, with the love of Jesus, who shows us what is the meaning of this fraternity that we are walking towards. Let's be grateful for being here at this time and for the opportunity to share our thoughts, but also share our love, our energy. And with this in mind, very grateful for the opportunity. Let's initiate our lecture today. So be it.
So it is. Thank you, Jackson. I'm just going to close the door so the obsessor doesn't disturb us. And now I'm going to share my screen with you, I believe. Let me start my presentation, share the screen. Ooh, I probably have to share the screen before the presentation starts. Sorry, guys. Haven't done that for a long time. Okay. Start.
We have missed you, Gisele.
I miss you too. God allowing, I'm going to be present soon. Where is my screen? There you go. Can you all see it now? Can you see?
No,
No. No.
you have to, if you have to.
No, that's it. Now. How about now?
Yes.
Are you finished?
No, I'm starting now.
I was just wanting to ask if they missed me. I've left them alone for months and months.
Did you guys miss Chris? He wants to know.
Yes.
Of course.
No.
Sounds very persuasive.
Okay, I have to start. Thank you. All right, here you are. Let's start then. So first of all, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here tonight after quite a long time since my last lecture. So I'm feeling very honored to be here with my people, my group, my family, and to talk about family, talk about family relationships, which we all know something about it, isn't it? So Jackson said what Gisele has to say, and we all have something to say about family. You all, are part of one in some extent, but today we're going to see what the spirits have to say, or what Kardec had to say, what the spirit has to say about family. So to get a start, I'm going to start with a question. So we're going to talk about family relationships. And I would like to start by reflecting on the concept of family. So as all concepts, concept of family is something that the humans invented. It doesn't exist in innate. It just was invented at some point. Not the feelings and the bonds involved in the family relationship, but the concept itself. All concepts were at some point invented. So my question for anyone who wants to respond is, what is family to you, and what does it consist of? So if anyone would like just to respond from their end, what is family? What does family consist of?
For me, family is like pretty much a group of persons, the person that are together, live together, and pretty much that's it. Not a concept of a man and a woman. Can be like, I think it's one person, 2, 3 decided to stay together, or life put them together so they can share the journey. That's family for me.
Thank you, Dai. Thank you, Dai. It is pretty much what this picture is illustrating. Different families in forms and shapes, numbers, whatever. But as I said, this concept was at some point created as a family. And when it happened, along with the concept of family, there was also a description, a specific description, what family would consist of. Today, like nowadays, in the current stage of the human journey, the human evolution journey, we still have the nature requiring a male and a female component to create another human being, isn't it? So naturally, the concept of growing a family started in the past with a male and female human, and mom and dad and their children. But nowadays, for many of us, the definition of family have changed, and as we opened our mind to expand our perspectives and even our consciousness. But still, many of all the literature, including the Bible and early spiritual books, they would portray family as mother plus father plus children. And while that still can be true, like biological concept of family is that the spiritual concept doesn't necessarily follow that. And actually, the spiritual concept of family doesn't necessarily follow the blood family concept either, right? So, to understand the spiritual relevance of a family, one needs to understand reincarnation. And that's why we're going to talk a little bit about reincarnation. We all know about reincarnation, but we're going to discuss a little bit the relevance of reincarnation with family concept. So reincarnation, because everything starts with the event of the birth. So under the light of the spiritism, the birth event means incarnation or reincarnation, because we know spirits experience multiple incarnations, so multiple corporeal lives. In the Spirits book, part 2, chapter 4, 5, 6, and 7. So Kardec reports the spirit's answers to questions about family relationships, and everything starts by discussing the concept of reincarnation. So the spirits explain reincarnation as the cycle of the soul returning to material world, physical world, in a new corporeal existence and experience. And that cycle goes on until that spirit reaches a specific level of purification, and that's Kardec's words, right? What I would prefer to call awareness and waking up. So that's why we are born again and again and again. And when we are born into a family. That's actually an English expression, you know, but what does that really mean? Born into a family. So to be born into means born and become part of. To be born and then become part of a family. Through the event of reincarnation, someone is born and become part of a family. They are surely born from a biological mother and father, but does it mean that these two people will necessarily be in their family group? No. Many people are born from specific parents, woman and a man, and for some reason, they end up becoming part of a family consisting of other people than their biological parents. And in fact, in the Gospel according to the Spiritism, chapter 14, it explains that the parents do nothing more than supply the material wrapping for the incarnating spirits. And I'll make a note here, of course, you know, if the parents then become the carers of that spirit, you know, and they're going to raise that spirit, of course, they're going to supply more. They supply moral values. They're going to supply resources, no material resources for that life to progress. But technically speaking, in the event of the birth, what they wanted to say in the Gospel according to Spiritism is that the only thing that the parents really pass on is the physical part. So it's the body and genes, you know, and everything that's related to the physical part. But in terms of the intrinsic values and moral of the spirit itself, it's not passed from parent to child. Even the intelligence, or I don't know, the if you issue now the level of awareness of parents, they're not necessarily passed to the children. It's just the physical part that passed to the children. And then as we grow and we raise our children, and of course we're going to pass, you know, through interaction to living together, other values and other things, and teach them somehow. But under a materialistic point of view, actually making and giving birth to a child may be seen as a wrong and egoistic act. I recently read an article about this Indian man who is suing his parents for giving birth to him without his consent. And when I was reading this article, I have to give in to him. I said, yeah, under a materialistic point of view, he's completely right. No, under this materialistic point of view, he didn't ask to be here. You know, he was pushed into this world, and now being here, he has to fight to survive. He has to work or to go through hunger, pain, and all those things that he probably, you know, himself don't like going through, because that's the reason he's suing his parents. You know, he's saying, oh, I'm here because you put me here. Now you're responsible for my well-being to the rest of my life. I didn't ask to be here. And really, it makes totally sense. And I hope my children do not read the same article. But of course, under a spiritualist point of view, more specifically the spiritism, there is an explanation, reasoning, and the explanation is that we indeed gave consent to be born, and moreover, to be born in a specific family. So what he doesn't know, you know, he doesn't understand yet, is that yes, he did give consent to be born. Not only he gave consent, but maybe he is even asked for it. And maybe, and we know in spiritism that we plan our incarnation way before we are born. So maybe he even planned, he chose the family he would be. You know, there's agreement between parents, the spirits of the parents, the spirits of the child, that they will be together. So there's so much, you know, in the spiritual explanation for a purpose of a life purpose and why we are here together, that he ignores at this point. And that's why he's suing his parents, because otherwise he would not, I believe. But let's move on. So who are those people that become part of our lives and we call family? So now I'm going to bring a sequence of questions and answers from the Book of Spirits, and also some texts from the Gospel according to Spiritism, so we can explore a little bit who are our family then, after all. So the first question we're going to discuss is question number 204. Do our relationships extend beyond our present existence, since we have had many lives? The Spiritist answer for the question is they start explaining the relationship between souls beyond the corporal life. Spiritual relationships are built on empathy and usually originates in a relationship established in previous lives. That also is true to hostility, though. So negative experiences shared in previous lives can trigger automatic aversion, that's the word they use, between spirits, and bring karma that will need to be cleared so the spirits can continue their progress. And actually, when we encounter someone that we have this natural aversion, we probably are there together because of some sort of karma anyway. So that's what it should just call our attention for this type of feeling that automatically arise inside us. It's just explore a little bit why I'm feeling that, why is this happening. And this is not only with family. In this question, the spirits they generalize this answer. It's talking about relationships between people in general. So the question number 205 is it would appear that, it's not really a question, it's more like a statement. It would appear that for some, reincarnation seems to destroy family ties by carrying them back to periods prior to our existence. But with the answer for these questions, these spirits remind us that through our many reincarnations, we play many different roles and experience many different life circumstances, like being rich, being poor, different social standing, embodying different races, experience different cultures and their values, and so on. With this question, they also explain that people usually are attached to their ancestors, but that in the way they are attached is like the title, the social position, and some, many would be embarrassed to admit that their ancestors were, servants, were people, ordinary people with the low class, even though they were honest people. But then if you could reflect a little bit more in this, then through reincarnation, we, as it says here, we can go through so many different roles that we ourselves have been in very different social positions, low social positions or high social positions. So it's no sense to see this as a pride, see my ancestors were, for example, my grandfather was a mayor in a city, and my family was always through life. My two grandparents were politicians, and they had this, like, you go to that city, you see the name of my grandparents as a street and things like this. And I watched my family with this pride, about who they were, what they did, who they met. But what the spirits are saying that here is just another role, isn't it? It's not another role we can do. We can be there. We can be a grandchildren of someone that is standard out in the society, but or not. And that's all lives we have, and we learn with all those roles we play in different lives. So there is no reason to be attached to our ancestors because of this type of thing. But they say that, yes, it's okay to honor your ancestors. And of course, we see that, in the indigenous communities, they honor, the ancestors with a respectful way for their experience, their teachings, their love. But that's a different thing, So this statement here now is an extract from the answer of the question 2006, not the whole answer, just an extract of that. And it's still about family ties and relationships. It tells us that our family members are very likely linked to us from previous lives. So it says, although spirits do not proceed from one another, their affection for those who are related to them by family ties is real. People are often led to incarnate in such and such a family because of pre-existing links and by the influence of attractions due to relationships from previous lives. So that is what means when we say that we, as a spirits, we kind of group of spirits that walk together, walk through existence together. They teach us that some spirits tend to incarnate in the same group of spirits and walk together throughout the evolution process. They help each other to progress in different levels, because we not necessarily are in the same level of awareness, but we are spirits that are empathic towards each other. We share sometimes values, but we share this family feeling spiritually, and we help each other then, as we incarnate together. And we also resolve issues. If you have any disagreement, any issue, karma to resolve, that we may have created, we also together to resolve it as well. But this next text from the Gospel according to Spiritism, this chapter 4, tells us that we may have a strange in the nest, a strange spirit in our family. Or we may be the strange spirit in the family, but that's all according to God's plan as well. And that's to help the spirit's progress, either, we helping or being helped. So it says, God permits that in certain families, these spirits, strange, who are uncongenial or strangers to each other, reincarnate with dual purpose of serving as a test for some members of that family and as a means to progress for others. So, you might have in your family, maybe not in the very close family, you might have in more like your more distant relatives, but you might have someone that people say, oh, that this person doesn't seem to belong to this family. It's so different. So, they're totally different values. Or maybe you feel this way, I don't feel I belong to this family. What's happening here? I think totally different than these people. But that is intentional as well. And may be the case that, no, you are not now at this point incarnating in the group of your spiritual family. But there is a purpose for that as well. There is a purpose for that family that you have, and for you to being there. Yeah? So in summary, who are our family? We can have empathic or adverse spirits in our family. We can have very likely relationships from previous lives, pre-existing links, and or a stranger, with a purpose. And now, what does make a family? Being part of a family is like living in an army. You all have different temperaments, attitudes, but one singular purpose, and that is to have each other's back no matter what. So I like this saying very, very much, because I think it's true, and that's another reason why we're together, why there is family, why family, the grouping is a natural thing for humans, and for many animals as well. Many animals group in families to increase their ability to survive, right? So what it doesn't mean increasing the ability to survive is to have each other's back. So that is a purpose, and I think no matter what, we are here together in family, so we need to understand that there is a purpose, and that purpose is to help each other in one way or the other. It doesn't mean to be condescending to things that we do not agree, but it means that we are here. We need to find why and how I can help or be helped here, or find help in my family. So living in a family environment is not easy at all, isn't it? Interaction with family members are even harder than interactions with family in the society where we live. Among family members, sometimes we cross the line, with the excuse of, oh, we are a close relationship. I can say that, I can do that because we are close relationship, close people. But I think that people are more likely to be hurt within the family environment than the social environment. But we need to remember that even with family members, words and actions have their weight and consequence too. And that is why we are more likely to create karma with family members than with other people. Hence, we then come back together to clear it. So it's when we are in family, the family members, we are there because we like each other or because we have to help each other, but it's so easy to go in the other way because we are so close, and we think we can sometimes say and do things that can be very hurtful and can hurt that in a way that we can create karma rather than resolve karma. So that's the I think the thing we need to think of. We need to be careful. Sometimes we think we only need to be careful outside, with people that we don't know, and we can be whatever inside our family, but we need to be careful inside the family too, if not hurt anyone or behave in such a way that honor the purpose of being in that family, if that makes sense. So the Gospel according to the Spiritism in chapter 14 states that there are two kinds of families, and so this concept of two kinds of families, two types of families is very important in Spiritism actually. So the first type is families through spiritual ties and families through bodily ties, the second type. In the first case, these ties are durable and strengthened with again, words from Kardec, purification, or as we go, waking up, expanding our awareness. And also they perpetuate in the spiritual world. Because of the various reincarnations, migrations of the soul, as he calls, it perpetuates in the spiritual world when it's a family, spiritual ties. In the second case, the ties are very fragile as the body is. And usually the ties extinguish with the body as well. And they say that in many instances, doesn't even wait until disincarnate to extinguish. It's just in the actual existence, people just disassociate. So they disassociate because there was not a strong tie, not a spiritual tie. It was just a bodily tie. That's what they explain. So that sometimes in family, it happens, this totally disassociation, and now because there was not strong ties. And then you might know this passage from the Bible, even that when Jesus said, "He is my mother and my brothers by spiritual ties, because all those who do the binding of my Father who is in heaven are my brothers, my sisters, and my mother." So just to give a little bit of concept, that's when Jesus talked about spiritual ties and family, spiritual family. To give a little bit of context about this passage, what happens is, and that's a narrative from St. Mark. So Jesus was aware of the intentions of the feelings that his brothers had towards him, and the intentions that his brothers had as well towards him. And the intentions were of laying their hands on Jesus under the pretext that he had lost his spirit. That's what St. Mark says, or gone out of his mind. And when he was informed that they have arrived, so Jesus was with his disciples and some other people, and he was talking, giving the talks as he always did. When he was informed that his brothers and his mom arrived, and knowing the feelings that the brothers had towards him, was natural for Jesus to take that opportunity to say that and to talk about spiritual in spiritual terms about the spiritual family. So he referred to his disciples and as his brothers and sisters, and not necessarily his brothers, the blood brothers. But although his mother was accompanying his brothers, Jesus generalized the teaching. He just generalized the teaching, but it didn't imply that his mom was not important to him. And I just want to make that clear as well. He in many occasions, Jesus referred to his mother as a very important character in his life, and for him, we know the story of Mary anyway. And even though Mary was not totally, she never totally understood Jesus while he was going through his mission. She later did understand and helped his work, and also we know helping him a lot to manage this planet, as a very enlightened spirit. So Jesus talked about, he gave the example and say, look, these people that are here and then sharing with me, this moment and these teachings, they are actually my family. And the message, Jesus' message was that love, what makes a family, what does make a family? Love is what makes a family, both here and in the spiritual world. And we are here in a family context, whatever shape and form it is, just to do that, to learn to bring more love to our family relationships, to clear out our karmas with other people, to help and to be helped, to tutor and to receive tuition, to teach and to learn. And how to get the most of our family experience, how to keep the joy. So life is a learning journey, and love is essential on every step of our journey. We know that. It is always about love, isn't it? Whilst dealing with all the family affairs may feel a bit daunting, disheartening and discouraging, it has so much to teach us, not only about the other, but especially about ourselves, about us. It is about us practicing to forgive others, to be patient, to be compassionate, to be tolerant, to be understanding, and to do all that while keeping our light shining. By loving ourselves too, and why not say first? So now I'm talking about us and our role and our position in family. Our family is a puzzle. We all complete each other, and each piece helps build a bigger picture. But we have to think ourselves as the most important piece of the puzzle. It is our own life experience that we are sharing with others. It is about us, not in an egoistic or narcissist way. It is about learning how to become a servant of the others without compromising the love for ourselves. And because as a servant to others, the best that you have to offer is what you have within. So my message tonight is be love and give love always in your family. And that's it. Thank you. And now, as usual, I can open for anyone that wants to contribute and say anything or disagree with anything. That's the space and time.
it's great, yeah, because thank God, as you say, you know, we evolve on a sense that understand things better, and today we can accept the family on many forms and types, and understand the families where loves resides. Huh? Resides. Yeah, that's the right word, you know. And how special to be part of a group where, even though sometimes we have some conflicts, that we choose to be together, to grow, and you know, to enjoy the ride. So yeah.
And we, in Basque, we are a spiritual family.
Yeah. we all have like a little, like, many pockets of family, you know.
Yeah.
And I think especially for us that, you know, in a sense left our home country and come to a different place.
Yep.
I'm not too sure about you guys, but for me, it's more like we have more tight contact with friends that we choose to be family here, because we don't have like our kind of, not real family in a sense, but you know what I mean, you know, like our parents and people that we grow with, and then we have to start over again. Another family, another circle, and things to keep going on with our life here. So that's another way to put it.
It's
And then,
brothers from the heart.
Yeah, they say that friends are family that you choose. But imagine if it was only that, if you always could choose the family, then we'll never sort anything out, isn't it? Or so that those family members that are imposed to us in the, you know, in our very narrow view here, because nothing is imposed to us. We always planned everything, so we knew everything, but we have this sense like that person is imposed in my life, and if I could choose, they are not going to be in my life. But that's where, you know, that's what I think, like that's where my attention needs to go. That's where I need to find why, you know, and find to be my best in that particular relationship there, which is not easy, but that's, I think, what message is here too.
Yes, the social expectations that are created by those that have established law and order, those that have established even as far back as even before Moses, but it is well documented in the books of Deuteronomy how we should live as a family. These are expectations that have been passed on throughout traditions and customary practices throughout the ages. And that is why we are, in a sense, in this day and age, we are releasing a lot of those bonds, but we are so often plagued with guilt, plagued with expectations, plagued with a sense of grief because we don't get on with the other, because my father never acted like the father, he always acted like a child. Or my mother acted as if she was a young girl and never took responsibilities for what she should have. Or I, as a child, did this or that. Or my brothers and sisters, it goes on and on. Because of our expectations that are placed on role playing. And this is perpetuated in the stories that we are taught as a young child, as to what role each of us must play within the family unit. And this gives us great grief because we are unable to embrace each and every one of the family members as individuals finding their way. Instead, we embrace them as the father. We embrace them as the mother, as the grandfather, as the grandmother, as the brother. And we don't look beyond that. And as you say, this is where, Gisele, you say that this is where we need to actually step beyond that role play and to teach our children as well, that we, each of us, are finding our way. Each of us are often struggling with our place in life itself. And if you can teach me, then please reach out and be compassionate and help me. Far be it for mums and dads to sit down with their children and say, can you please teach us the way? Because we are filled with that egoic sense of role. And this is an incredible tool that so many use. And then when marriages break down or family units disintegrate, we label them as dysfunctional. But there is no dysfunction. It is just each of us working out how we can live our lives to the fullest in greatest joy and happiness, and to release the need to be bonded together because we are connected by blood ties. Yes, yes, it is problematic, but it is something I sense that each of us needs to overcome so that we can find our joy. Yes, releasing the role play, I sense, is a very difficult hurdle for many people. Yes.
And yet you need to do that, Colleen. I understand that, but in a very diligent way, because there is times where you, as parents, you need to lead the way.
Yes. Yes.
You need to understand
of course.
that as well. Yeah.
Yes, of course. Yes.
That's it. So I think we're going for our prayer.
Yes, remember, Gisele, to refer Josie. I just received a message from his father, her father, saying thanking us very much for that.
Yeah, I'm just rather than referring, just ask everyone to have since the beginning, you know, their intention and their thoughts to this person that is close friend to Jackson, called Josie, and her father, that are going to health circumstance, not not satisfactory circumstance at the moment. But we now then so calm our minds as we can, just to be present in this moment. And being present in this moment, we can put our attention and our intention to the healing of these people we just mentioned, but also to all other people that may be close friends or family relatives, or even just people we know that need some light, that need some comfort, that may need some healing. May this healing be delivered to all people. There is this beautiful mantra that's called Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. And that means, may my thoughts, words, and actions contribute to the happiness of all people. So let's all today have this in mind and ask ourselves that our words, thoughts, and actions may be contributing to the healing of everyone that needs at the moment. Because as beings of light, which we are in our essence, we are natural healers. It's just what's necessary is our pure intention, our true intention, to be in service to others in need. So at the moment, I would ask us to form this circle, this virtual circle with our light and spirits, and imagine us gathering all this healing energy from the universe, from the space, and together delivering and pouring this beautiful, bright energy and pure energy to everyone in need, close or distant. And so be it. May the light be with all. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you, G.
It was beautiful, Gisele. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. It's great.
Thank you all. I hope, looking forward to see you personally. I'm not gonna promise, but I want to be present maybe in the next meeting. Let's see if I can make it.
Yay!
Sure. So yeah, so just a reminder, next week we're back at the GAPA, thank God. And I hope to see you guys there in person, if it's possible. Otherwise, we're gonna still have the Zoom open for those that are not able to come in person. And that takes